Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside the whole crew Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock, and Dee Dee Woodson. And guys, we got a very special show for you as always. Smackdown Live first off. And then I actually got a very special Mikey's Mindset because tomorrow night there's actually a special wrestling event that's going down on in Mike Bullock's and my neck of the woods. The return of the RWA. They've been waiting almost a year and a half due to the pandemic. Well, tomorrow night is their first official wrestling event they're gonna have in such a very long time. So the excitement level is very high. I'll give you the rundown on the entire fight card. 10 matches, including the main event of the evening, a Triple Crown Championship fight, and we'll get it all set up for you guys. So, with that said, we're just gonna dive right in. Started it off with a promo segment by Bianca Belair. That was actually, yeah, it started off with Bianca Belair, uh, Sasha Banks, Bianca, and Zelina Vega. And look, I'm going to say it. This was really well done. All the ladies made their intentions known, especially Zelina, calling her shot to try to get an opportunity at the title. Um, we've been on WWE for the last few weeks about how they've been treating Zelina Vega, especially since her return. I thought this was her personal best since she got back to WWE. This looked amazing. I felt it. I thought they did a really good job with all three women uh, hyping up SummerSlam. Of course, Zelina looking for an opportunity herself to get herself into a title match. I thought they did a really good job with this. So I got really nothing more to add. Solid segment. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
MF, aren't you forgetting something?
Which
You got
is
it's official. SummerSlam, the rematch from WrestleMania. We wanted it. We're getting it. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. It's official, buddy. It's official. So surprised MF didn't mention that, but I think he was well. I can't blame him for that, but because hey, he's right. He's absolutely right, 100%. This was one of the segments of the night for sure. I mean, and this has been a running theme on SmackDown where the in-ring segments have been better than the matches. And spoiler alert, tonight was one more time. Yet again, I think this is the third or fourth straight week that the in-ring segments have been better than, well, third week in a row. But anyways, this was one of them. Charisma was off the charts in this one. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair each set the stage for their rematch at SummerSlam, explaining why they still have beef. Throw in Zelina Vega, who expressed her desire to challenge for the title rather than letting Sasha jump her in line. And this actually made sense. Best of all was Belair, who looked strong and confident as she not only booked herself a title defense booked herself a match rather for later in the night against Zelina, but also set up a rematch of her iconic showdown with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. This was great, fresh, and came across like three women with issues having a real back and forth rather than some of the overproduced and unnatural promos we've seen elsewhere on WWE television. And Michael Bullock and I, we haven't had many SmackDown chats lately, but we actually had one tonight, our first one in several weeks and months. But one of the things that we said, and MF and Didi, you're hearing this for the first time, and I'm sure you're going to agree with Bullock and I on this. I mentioned to Bullock that, many of times on our shows, whether it is this Cerebral Smack Talk or Ridiculously Raw or what have you, we have gone nuclear on WWE for questionable booking, lazy booking, and the whole 9 yards. But in this case, they didn't give us the rematch right out of the gate. They didn't do that. I mean, we were all expecting. I mean, we knew we were going to get a rematch. We knew there was a rematch was coming, obviously. And we all thought for sure it was going to be WrestleMania Backlash. But no, they did not do that. They saved it for this, which is going to be an even bigger atmosphere than it was in Tampa. You only had 25,000 in Tampa, that main event, that Saturday night of WrestleMania Night 1. But this time, we're getting it in a full capacity crowd in a much bigger stadium, an Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. And they saved it for SummerSlam. They didn't give it to us right away. They made us wait for it. And kudos to WWE for that booking. And I mentioned that to Bullock, and he agreed with me 100% on that. And I'm sure MF and Didi will agree with me on that sentiment as well. But anyways, fantastic segment. One of the segments of the night for sure. And Michael Bullock, Phenom, come on in as I bring you in. We wanted it. We're getting it. Bianca, Sasha 2, SummerSlam, SmackDown Women's Championship. And if you thought WrestleMania was good, this could be just as good or even better. Think about it.
I can definitely think about it, and I'm glad they waited until SummerSlam with full capacity in a bigger stadium like Allegiant Stadium for the rematch to go down, and yep, we're getting it at SummerSlam. And can it be better than the first time they met at WrestleMania? Well, only time will tell. I think they can, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I really like the segment here that started off. I mean, obviously Zelina was making her case too, and well, she is gonna get an opportunity at Bianca Belair later tonight. But yeah, so how did Zelina do? You're just gonna have to wait and find out. So there's really nothing more to add to it. So Didi Woodson, come on in and give us your thoughts on all this.
Yeah, this was a good opening segment. Definitely hyped the pay-per-view coming up, making the match for that and making the match for later tonight with Zelina. And, the three did a great job. They knocked it out of the park. So, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
First fight of the evening, it was Jey Uso going one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. Jey Uso gets the win. 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
This was the fight of the night. 3-star match. The mounting frustration Dominic is experiencing at the hands of his father is ultimately going to end with him betraying Rey and igniting a father-son rivalry. It feels entirely too early for that, especially since the combo just held the SmackDown Tag Team Championships as late as a month ago. WWE, though, has never missed out on the opportunity to rush stories, such as this one, getting to the end game way before it really needed to. That Dominic hasn't even had the opportunity to perform in front of fans for more than a month, let alone develop a character fans can actually get behind outside of his lineage, doesn't bode well for the feud achieving its fullest potential. Until that betrayal comes, expect more in the endless line of matches against the Usos as the teams prepare for a SummerSlam showdown that may be a bit too late to prevent burnout on this program. But, we'll have to wait and see on that. So, but for me, this was without a doubt the fight of the night right here. Really the only really good match on this show tonight. Solid 3-star effort, no doubt about that. And all I can say on that. So Michael Bullock, Usos, Jey Uso gets the win here. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw Rey and Jimmy in our face next week, maybe. I don't know, but one thing is for sure, we will have the Mysterios and the Usos in a return match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles in the SummerSlam, which was announced by WWE earlier in the week.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise with that. But as far as this match goes, yeah, I mean, this was a 3-star match. I thought this was a good match here. I mean, yeah, you could see the frustration from the Mysterios. I mean, I mean, I could see it happening, Florio, but like you said, I think it's way too soon to pull the trigger on it. A potential betrayal by one of them. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's a 3-star match. It was very well done. Yeah, I think they're laying the groundwork. Hopefully, they pull it out a little bit where they're not going to pull the trigger too soon. But you never know what they're going to do. So yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. I mean, you guys pretty much hit it, so it's yours or Fletch.
That's okay. 3 stars is my rating as well. I thought they did a very good job with it. Look, I think it could have been a lot more. Could it have been a lot more better? Yes, it could have. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to. You kind of have to understand the situation. I think they're gonna pull the trigger at SummerSlam. I think they're gonna want to go for the big moment, a big betrayal. I think SummerSlam could be the night where we could get the big Mysterio implosion right before our very eyes. And why not? Do it at Allegiant. Do it big. You know the crowd's gonna pop in a negative way on Dominic if he does indeed betray Ray. Because if you know, Vegas has a very strong Mexican lineage out there. It's not that far from the Mexican border. So you can, if you do it in there or in California, that would have been the perfect location. I think you could pull the trigger because you're going to get a negative reaction from it. So I think if you just play the cards right, you could get a big reaction. And I know that's something that I know you're like, is it too soon to do it? Is it too soon to do it? Maybe it is too soon, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a better payoff. So that's my 2 cents on it. So next up we had was it was Nakamura was a very special match because of the fact that if Nakamura wins, he will receive a title fight for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, Nakamura won via disqualification due to General Aziz pulling Nakamura out of the ring at the point that he kind of had. Nakamura was setting him up. I think he was going for the Kinshasa or he was going to go for the win, and it didn't happen. So Nakamura gets robbed of the victory, but because of the win, that might be good enough to yell championship committee moment, because remember, this was a contenders match. Nakamura might have just punched his ticket for the Intercontinental title match. Michael Bullock, I don't have a time of the fall. I don't know why. ProWrestling.net might have slept behind the wheel on this one, so I got no time. I can't help you there, Bullock. So you're just gonna have to free swing this one.
Or as the other term as you like to say, they screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah, they screwed it pretty hardcore on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, unless Anthony Florio can get the time for us if he can pull that off.
Knowing Florio, he's probably looking for it right about now. So I know he's on the hunt for it. After I said no time, I know he's on the hunt. Even though I know his computer's a little wonky nowadays. Oh, hold up. I think we got it.
What's it got it?
Didi,
yep, 829.
Gets it. All right, 829. So
yeah,
to what on this one? So Didi gives it to us 829. Bullock, it's yours.
All right. Well, first off, thank you, Dee Dee Woodson, for that, for finding the time. So, yeah, I mean, it was a fine match. Obviously, the DQ finish, we frowned upon it. I'll give it about maybe 2 stars for the effort here. I mean, it could have been better. I mean, but yeah, a win is a win, and I think Nakamura does get his opportunity at the Intercontinental title. So, maybe I could see that going down at SummerSlam as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on it. So nothing more to say, Dee Dee Woodson. Before I give it to you, who was that on our screen for?
That was Kai.
All right, yeah, I gotta ask you, who did I dislike the most?
Uh,
Maybe Roman.
yeah, he's not one of the favorites. So yeah, I'd have to say he probably is.
I'm sure he would like to scratch the eyes out of Roman. All right, so it's yours, Dee.
Yeah, I could probably agree with that.
Wait a minute. Hold on, I stand corrected. Fletch, actually, it's the wrong match time for you.
I see it. We'll
All
clear it
right,
up in a
so
second. We'll clear it up in a second. Dee Dee, go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
Okay, yeah, I probably looked at the wrong one since I was looking on 411. Yeah, like I said, I can probably give it, 1.5 to 2 stars. It was a fairly good fight. But yeah, I don't like the DQ finish. I don't think anybody does. I know you guys don't. So yeah, I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. Like y'all said at the beginning, the matches aren't as great as the segments, but there are still a lot of storyline driven in a lot of the matches. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. That was Anthony Flair just posted it. That was the wrong match time. The opener was at 8 minutes and 29 seconds. This match, that was the Intercontinental Contenders match, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Obviously, that does have a major effect on our overall look because of the fact that that's going to leave us with a little bit of a tight situation there. So yeah, what I think if we say maybe 1.5, 1.5 is probably the best we can go. It was very short. Yes, I do agree with that. I think it could have been a lot more better, but at the end of the day, this is how everything was gonna. We were hoping for something better, and obviously, it did not work for any of us. So, I mean, slight definitely disappointment. I think that's the best way we can say it. But look, I think this was one of those where they were a little pressed for time. I think a lot of people thought that the match was going to be a lot more better than what it was, and I don't know. I think they felt like they were pressed for time. So we'll see how it plays out. Anthony, it's yours after all that.
Yes, I'm on. I found the time on the same article that that Dee Dee, that the same set of notes from 411 that Dee Dee looked into, and there was a match that went 8:29, but it was the opening match with the Mysterio and the Uso there, and this match here, according to it, says 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and I knew something wasn't right about it, so that's why I had to go in and look into it like I did, but. Well, at least they didn't beat Apollo Crews. The Intercontinental Champion feels infinitely less important than he was around WrestleMania. When he had momentum on his side, it was enjoying the hottest streak of his entire run on the main roster. A feud with Shinsuke Nakamura or King Nakamura, who himself has struggled with start and stop pushes on the part of WWE Creative, is not helping. The eventual match will be good and probably help elevate Crews in the long run, but it is not a particularly interesting feud. Outside of Pat McAfee losing it on the announce table every week when Rick Boogs is out there. Because we all know ever since Rick Boogs came on the scene, Pat McAfee has gushed over him like he damn near has a man crush on him. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but because we all know how much Pat McAfee loves Rick Boogs because of the guitar and coming down with Nakamura's entrance there as Tiger Cat looks on here, but anyways, I have every right to give this an NA because of this. But if I had to put a rating on it, it would probably be 1 for the effort. One of the worst fights of the night. You could definitely make an argument for the worst, and I still think it'll be. I still believe that we'll get this in the SummerSlam in some way, and maybe it'll add to the history of the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Because remember, no title has changed hands at SummerSlam more than the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship has, especially in the early years. So, and I've relived several of those as I've been going down SummerSlam memory lane for the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to do so until we get to the big show in 2 weeks. So, but anyways, 1 star really for the effort, NA to 1 for me, and but all I know, guys, is that it's very likely we're going to get these two for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship in the SummerSlam. Wouldn't be surprised if they do it. So that's really all there is to say on this. So MF, let's move on to the next match or segment or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, next up we had was Tegan Knox going one-on-one against Tamina. Tegan Knox wins the match in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. I'm going to leave this open. If you guys want to talk about it, we can. If you don't, then that's fine as well. Yeah, Dee Dee's shaking her head.
Well,
no,
there is.
so
There is one thing for me. I'm actually going to. This is a toss-up for worst fight of the night. This was another one right here. But this one was, but there was nothing to this due largely to the lack of time afforded it. The end game is clearly Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox taking the women's. Yes, I said it. Taking the tag titles from Tamina and Natalya, but with the Queen of Hearts still sidelined due to her recent surgery after that freak injury that she suffered at the hands of Doudrop on Monday Night Raw recently. Things are at a standstill. Knox winning earns the de facto challenger some momentum, and the finish protects the otherwise dominant Tamina. From that perspective only, was this a worthwhile segment? That's the only thing that was worthwhile about it. 1 to 1 1/4 would be the rating if I were to give it one, but yeah, the match was bad. It technically is a cutout, but the only thing I want to address, MF, and I'm going on the record, when Natty comes back from her injury, I think we're going to see these two teams throw it down, and I'm going to make the bold prediction right now. Shotzi and Knox are going to win the belts.
All right. Well, they did say that, well, according to Michael Cole, if you heard the broadcast, they're hoping to have her back in a couple of weeks. That might be just enough time to get her back at SummerSlam, because I think it was a high ankle sprain or a sprained ankle. I don't think there was any structural damage, thank God. So I think that's what we're possibly looking at. But I mean, we'll wait and see how this plays out. Obviously, the other guys doesn't want to talk about it. So we're going to the next one. That was Edge, interrupted by Seth Rollins, who was via satellite, but it did make the match official. It will be Edge versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Dee Woodson, it is all yours. Rollins and Edge are finally going to throw down at the hottest night of the summer at Allegiant, so it's all yours.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this because I think they've said it was, a few years in the making due to a lot of stuff that happened in the past between the two of them. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. Edge reminded Seth that he did eliminate him from the Rumble. So yeah, it was definitely a storyline driven segment, and led to a match being made. So yeah, I'm good with the segment and everything. So it's yours.
solid segment. But then again, when we're talking about Edge and Seth Rollins, I mean, these are the two of the guys who are really known very well promo wise. They're really good. Body of work is great. So I don't think we're going to have any arguments or fights about it. I think they did a really good job with it. So, I mean, this was another entertaining segment. We do get the ultimate payoff, the match, Rollins versus Edge, 1-on-1 at SummerSlam. They've been teasing it for a little while. Now we're gonna get the ultimate payoff, and this is gonna be one heck of a fight. So yeah, to me, very very well done. Definitely one of the key segments of the evening. And with that, Anthony Florio, it is yours.
We may have to call the Vegas PD on them boys because them boys might just steal the dang show. In the immortal words of JBL and myself. But anywho, another fantastic segment here. Like I've been saying, over the last few weeks, when it comes to these Friday Night Smackdowns, as of late, the in-ring segments have been actually better than the matches. And here's proof of another such segment here. This was great stuff. As Edge, long considered a master manipulator, suckered Seth Rollins into accepting his challenge by devaluing him. He exploited Rollins' ego and in the process reminded the architect he had the opportunity to put Edge out of his misery on that final Monday Night Raw in 2014 that led to John Cena reluctantly bringing the Authority back, but he did not. When it comes to Rollins putting Edge out of his misery, he did not. Now he suffers the consequences. Edge has been superb throughout this program, and Rollins appears rejuvenated and motivated to deliver against the guy that has undeniably influenced his career. For all the talk of John Cena and Bill Goldberg, it may very well be Edge and Seth Rollins that steals the show in Las Vegas. So, yeah, 2 paws on the segment for Cali. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. So there isn't really much more to say on this. It hasn't been said already. Another segment of the night, absolutely. And Michael Bullock, we always say Angry Edge is the best Edge, and Seth Rollins pushed him, bringing up Beth Phoenix and the kids, obviously, and then Edge devaluing Rollins, and that did it. That suckered him in. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. Another fantastic segment, and this is another match, and just like with Bianca and Sasha, another case of we wanted it, and now we've made it official, and we're gonna get it. Edge and Rollins, call the Vegas PD boys because they're gonna steal the dang show in my book.
Yeah, they definitely are, and I'm sure Dee that Callie would like to slap the paws right on Seth Rollins right now for the way he is, especially for bringing up Edge's family, which, as we always like to say, when you bring up the family, that's an absolute no-no. But, yeah, Edge did get a little retaliation by reminding him that he eliminated him from the Royal Rumble twice. So that pretty much was the one that made Seth Rollins finally accept the match. And, yeah, we're getting it at SummerSlam, and I cannot wait to see it. And it's 7 years in the making, especially after near the end of 2014 when Seth Rollins had an opportunity to curb stomp Edge's neck right onto the briefcase, but John Cena brought back the Authority reluctantly and never really pulled the trigger. So, and Rollins made it perfectly clear that he will not hesitate this time around, but only this time there won't be a briefcase. So, yeah, so this is definitely going to be something I'm really looking forward to. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, like we said, this is going to be very, very interesting to watch more than anything else. Next up on the card we had was the Street Profits versus Ziggler and Rude. Street Profits gets back on the winning ways, winning the match at 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And Anthony, I guess I'll give it to you. Solid match, but the thing is that this is really more of the Profits trying to get their legs back under them after having, with everything that was going on with them.
Yeah. This was by default the second best fight of the night, even though it was really a welcome back match for the Street Profits, and it was kind of a showcase to bring them back. It's not like the Dirty Dogs are going to get hurt, are going to be hurt by this loss, so letting the Street Profits get some momentum back makes sense. And I believe, I already believe that the Usos are going to successfully defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Mysterios, and and I think once the Usos put the Mysterios behind them, Dominic betrayal or not, we're I think SmackDown's going to start grooming the Street Profits to get back into the title picture, and I believe that the Street Profits could be the next team to challenge the Usos once the Mysterios are done. So, and if that happens, oh boy, what a great title program for the fall season. That's all I can say on that. And that's another thing for MF to get excited about. I mean, you want to talk about Edge and Rollins having a show stealer match. Think of the show stealer matches we could get with the Street Profits and the Usos down the road, especially in the fall, because I think that's what they're going to save it for. But 2 stars for this one. Not much more to say on this. So, Michael Bullock, I consider this a welcome back showcase for the Street Profits, and I think the Street Profits are going to be the next in line for the Usos and the SmackDown Tag Team titles once the Mysterios are done. So, Michael Bullock, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I can definitely see a feud with the Profits and the Usos after the Usos are done with the Mysterios. So, yeah, 2 stars for me. I agree with that. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Dee Whitson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the 2 stars. So let's toss it to Fletch.
2 stars, unanimous. Nothing more to say, guys. We're just gonna move right on along here. As next up that we had on the show was Zelina Vega versus Bianca Belair in a contenders match. Bianca Belair wins the match 9 minutes 28 seconds over Zelina Vega. Michael Bullock, it is all yours, and give credit to Zelina. She pushed Bianca, but the EST remains the top woman. Momentum going into SummerSlam and her date with Sasha Banks.
Yeah, definitely some momentum for Bianca Belair, but yeah, Zelina Vega definitely put up a big fight, but yeah, unfortunately, it was not enough. So to me, I'll give this about maybe 2.5 stars, maybe 3 for the effort here. So yeah, you definitely want to give Bianca Belair some momentum going into her big time rematch with Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. So there's really nothing more to say. Dee Whitson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. I've kind of noticed since Selena's been back, she hasn't done a lot as far as winning. So this wasn't a total big surprise that she lost this match. So, it is what it is. I look forward to seeing, hopefully things turn around and her actually getting a chance to go for the title. Because, we all know, you get tired of watching the same people going for the big titles over and over and over again. And right now, it seems like the main ones doing it is of course Bayley and Sasha. So hopefully, we'll get some different competition coming up here very, very soon. I hope so. Not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this was 3 stars, but I gotta say, out of all of the matches that Zelina has been in, this was her best match tonight. This was her best performance. This was her best match, and Bianca brought it out. Bianca continues to solidify herself as a great champion, as a great competitor, and she proved herself yet again here tonight. And I think, yeah, there has been some hesitation. There's been some heat, whatever you want to talk about. There's some people that actually does not like Bianca as the champion. There's a minority of people, not the majority, but there is a small minority that are not fond of Bianca as the champion. So at the end of the day, this was solid. I liked it. This was a 3 to 3.5 star match because both women went for it, and you could tell that if for some reason that Bianca does get by Sasha, you could definitely see that maybe that's the point where you could see them build up Zelina to finally give her the shot at the title, because right now everybody else is kind of out in the wind. So no, for me, I got nothing bad to say. I thought they did a really good job with this match, and this was one of the few matches that actually hit on the show tonight. Anthony, it's yours.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. Got to make a correction here. This was the you can make an argument for this to be fight of the night, but then again, you could also make an argument for the Mysterio Uso match. You can make an argument for both to be co-fights of the night, really. That last match with the Profits and the Dirty Dogs, that was the third best fight of the night. This was another 3-star effort, and I 100% agree. I mean, Zelina Vega definitely proved herself here tonight. There was a backstage segment earlier where Zelina Vega was pleading her case to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville about why she deserves a title shot, and there's no question about it. I believe whoever comes, regardless of who comes out of Bianca and Sasha at SummerSlam, which as of right now, I'm leaning towards Bianca myself, but I think Zelina Vega will be the next challenger for whoever gets Bianca and Sasha. And Sonya made it clear that it's going to be Bianca and Sasha at SummerSlam, and you can have the winner. Simple as that. And I agree with that sentiment. I think that whoever does come out of it, Zelina should get the winner, regardless of it's Bianca or Sasha. So that's really all I can say on that. 3-star match for me. And did Bullock have his turn yet, or
Bullock led off?
Oh, Bullock started it. Okay, just want to be sure as always. So yeah, 3 stars for me. Co-fight of the night, along with the Mysterio and Uso matchup, and not much more to say. MF, I do believe it's main event time, and while the match may have been the post-match, woo, let's go.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a 2-for-1 on this one. So we started it off like we said. It was Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. Balor wins the match, but then Balor basically was gonna try to call out. I think he was calling out John Cena, and the next thing you know, Roman Reigns comes out. Roman cuts a promo. Balor goes right after Roman. The Uso came out. It turned into pure utter chaos at the end, but the Bloodline stands tall at the end of the night. Dee Woodson, with everything that was included, is all yours. Just for the note, and just so that the fans know, Balor beat Corbin at 2 minutes and 39 seconds. But let's just say nobody really cared about the match. It was what happened after the match is what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, everybody's talking about that. And I turned my camera on because I'm actually wearing a Finn Balor shirt. So, as you can tell, like I said, Tiger likes Balor. We all over here pretty much kind of like Balor. So, we were definitely rooting for him in this match. And of course, there wasn't any doubt. You pretty much knew it was going to be Finn over Corbin. The match, I'm not going to rate too high because, it was almost like a squash, I guess you could say. Because Corbin, it just doesn't seem like he's got much heart in it since they've started the storyline of him spiraling downhill ever since he lost the crown to Nakamura. So I'll probably give the match maybe, at best I could probably say 2 stars. But yeah, after the match, that was definitely the better stuff. I think he was looking to get some retribution on Cena for putting his name on the contract. But instead, you got Roman out there. And yeah, it was just a really good post-match, little post-match segment that we had right there. So, hopefully, Balor will eventually get his chance at the head of the table. But, right now we have to wait and let Cena do his thing first, and then, bring the next competitor up, and hopefully nobody else cuts in line this time. So, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
I think the way that it's going to go is I think Roman goes through, but I do believe Balor will probably be the next in line. Now, oddly enough, there was something that was mentioned, or there was something that was there where Big E kind of was lurking around, especially around Heyman. So maybe keep a very, very, very watchful eye on Big E, because Big E could Money in the Bank. It's possible. You cannot rule that out, because whenever somebody has the briefcase, you can never rule out an individual with the Money in the Bank. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's a dangerous situation where, E, if he wants to, he could cash that in, and that could turn everything upside down and inside out. So, I mean, we'll keep a watchful eye. Yeah, maybe 2 stars for the match. But as far as the end goes, yeah, this was a solid match. And it was an okay match. But the segment right after, oh my God. Amazing. So nothing more to say. It was awesome. Anthony, it's yours.
Short, sweet, and to the point, this put Finn Balor over as a more serious, refocused, and dangerous Balor. Baron Corbin continues to entertain in his downtrodden, down on his luck character. His willingness to look like a fool is refreshing. A great performer who doesn't get nearly enough credit for it. He has been one of the more fun elements of the Blue brand in recent weeks. Finn Balor, though, looked like a world beater, taking out the bloodline by himself before the numbers disadvantage proved too much. Maybe having him tap out, then shifting the focus right back to John Cena's return next week in Tulsa isn't the most optimal manner in which to get Balor over as a main event star on the main roster, but there's reason to believe he will remain in or around the top of the card based on booking trends thus far. Roman Reigns continues to be the bright spot as the only legitimate megastar the company has on its full-time roster. Whoever eventually beats him for the Universal title is going to be a made man. So that's all there is to say on this. The match was, 2 stars. So let's get into the overall review. Or Bullock, did you go?
No, Mike has not gone yet.
All right.
So Bullock,
All right.
it is yours.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this?
Mike? Bullock?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, basically, this puts, like you said, it basically puts Finn Balor over, and he's going to get the next shot at the Universal Championship. I mean, yeah, I definitely could see Reigns going over, but there's another part of me that thinks that maybe Cena does go over, because remember, Ric Flair got released, so maybe they want John Cena to go over just so that way he breaks Ric Flair's record. So a lot of things could happen, but also, like you said, the Money in the Bank briefcase comes into play too, with Big E lurking. So you got a whole lot of things that could possibly happen. But Yeah, but for right now, Finn Balor, like you said, he tried to take out the bloodline, but the numbers game were just too much. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
All right, now it's time for the overall review. And all right, this was genuinely all over the place. I mean, there wasn't really anything that really stood out. I thought the show itself was all right. Promo segments dominated the night. I definitely can say that. As far as it goes overall and with everything going on, it I kind of feel like this was a 6 out of 10. Yeah, there was a couple of decent matches that could have been better. There was a couple of other moments that you can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day and at the end of the night, look, you got some storyline progression. You got some stuff that's leading towards SummerSlam that they did a decent job with, but you still got a long way to go before you hit the home run marker on this one. So I mean, to me, this can go a number of ways. With a couple of anything can happen, but I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. So I really got nothing more to add. 6 out of 10, Anthony, is my final rating. What says you?
Yeah, that's about right. 6 to 6.5, really. Third week, I believe this is the third week in a row, like I said, that the in-ring segments were better than the matches, even though we had two good matches on this show. Mysterio and Uso and Bianca Belair and Zelina Vega. Those are the only two real standout matches. The other matches were to be honest with you. Solid show with matches being made for SummerSlam. Great in-ring segments. The last part is what often sets SmackDown apart, as they are a pretty steady 2 hours most weeks. That's a good place to be, and it makes Friday such an easy night of wrestling. Not a great show, but it was solid enough. So about 6.5. I agree with MF's sentiments, and we'll see what happens next week in Tulsa. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts? 6.5 for me.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a 6 out of 10 as well. I mean, the segments were definitely much better than the matches itself. Even though, like you said, we had a couple of good ones, but the storyline progression continues. That's why I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 as well. So, Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I could give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, pretty much. I think Florio pretty much said all of it. The segments were good. There was match and storyline progression going on, but yeah, it's the matches were a wee bit on the lame side. So yeah, and next week here it is, my old stomping grounds for SmackDown. So yeah, that's going to be kind of cool to get to see my old stomping grounds through the TV again. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. So I'll see you guys Monday. Good night.
All right, good night, Dee Dee. Very very cool to have her back on a more permanent basis. This was amazing. All right. So with that said, it's time that we get into my. Normally, I don't have a Mikey's mindset. I've been holding off for ages with this until now. So here we go, guys. Tomorrow night is the return of the RWA. Like I said, it'll be the first time that they'll be back uh, in wrestling. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. So RWA, it's called the Return of the Renegades. That's right, you heard me right. Return of the Renegades. It is gonna be. I just had it. The Return of the Renegades, that will be going down tomorrow, and it is gonna be it's gonna be crazy, man. We're talking about 10 matches on the fight card more than anything else. So, guys, here we go. 10 matches, and we started off with, if it comes up, sorry. All right, so the 10 fight card match that we got is first we will have on this event, as it will be let's see, sorry. All right, so we got, come on, live TV, what do you expect, guys? Sorry. So the whole fight card goes like this. We started off with, it's gonna be for the RWA World Tag Team titles. The champions, the Hoods, they will be teaming up and going up against 4 other teams. The losers, the Hollywood and Bruisies, the Heavy Hitters, and one mystery team. We do not know who they are at the moment. We will find out who that mystery team is on the night of the Return of the Renegade. Then we have a one-on-one match where Nick Marchand will go up against the gatekeeper of the RWA, the Ace, Mike Montero. The next match we have is Devin Baker versus Ricky Medeiros. This is a grudge match, one-on-one. Then we will have Coach Will go one-on-one against Tough Talk Tony Spencer, formerly of Proving Ground and from Project Zero Wrestling that used to be around a few years ago. Tony Spencer makes his return to the RWA to go one-on-one with Coach Will. Then we also have is the Open Challenge that's done by Stephen Lust. Of course, Stephen Lust was demanding a shot or a battle for the Triple Crown Championship, gets denied that opportunity, and now has to go up, and basically it's an open challenge. Anybody can fight him. So who knows who's going to step up? We'll see how that plays out. Then we have the Young Guns going one-on-one against Team Mac Attack. Yes, holy freaking crap, they are back. Team Mac Attack has not been seen in a long time, in more than a few years since we've seen them come around, but they're back, and they're going to have a tag team special with the Young Guns. Then we also have is Alexandrio Russo. He's going one-on-one with Izzy Star. This was also another man that was considered a favorite to get a shot. Actually, this was, if I remember, this was, I think, Roderick's pick that he thought that was deserving. Obviously, nobody wanted this guy to get the shot at the title. So, yeah, you want to talk about a mutiny in the building when that happened. So that was a mutiny and a half, and now here we are. So we got that one, a one-on-one. Then we also got the Brick House Cup on the line, as it's going to be the Great Naka going up against the Mighty Bosch. That will be for the Brick House Cup. The RWA Hype Championship on the line. The champion, the Suplex Sweetheart, Asana, she will put the championship on the line against 2Biff. And the main event of the evening for the RWA Triple Crown Championship, Kellen Thomas puts the title on the line against Theodore J. Liffington. He gets the golden opportunity. He will get the shot at the gold, and it will be going down tomorrow night from the Mount Pleasant Little League Field in Providence, Rhode Island. Tickets are still on sale as we speak. $10 to get in if you're 12 and over. If you're 12 and under, you can get in $5 for the tickets for this big event. This is it, guys. You've waited almost a year and a half for this to happen. It is going down tomorrow night from Providence, Rhode Island, at the Mount Pleasant Little League Field. All the titles are on the line. It's going to be a grand night, to say the very least. Nothing more to say. We're done. We'll be back on Monday with Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio, and the whole crew will be back. Monday Night Raw, 205 Live, and Impact recaps. And until then, guys, have a good night. We'll see you guys on Monday.